What's up, everybody? We are back today. We have come a long way since the last time you saw me on this bad boy right here. So it's super exciting. I didn't get to film a whole lot of it, but I did get a little bit. We were over at my buddy Casey's shop who welded my diff. He actually put in my rear brackets for the rear subframe. So now this thing, I'm never gonna have to worry about that rear subframe cracking. So we also got some new lighting. This is probably one of the best decisions we've ever made. It just absolutely brightens up the garage, and it wasn't even $100 to do this. We were just talking about that, how nice it actually looks in here now. So very excited about this. Hopefully by the end of today, it'll be moving under its own power. It's starting to look really, really good. I just need to do the front CNC angle arms or angle brackets and then get all this put back in, really. We did have to get another one of these stupid little drain plugs for the radiator because the one that I put in, I broke it. So shows you how great this thing is. We pulled out a broken one, I put one in and broke it again. So then we also got new axle nuts for it because our old axle nuts are bad. And then I actually got a little bit more paint for that rear subframe. Unfortunately, I did not get to paint the bottom of the unibody before putting the subframe back in. So I'm gonna have to paint it with some of this Rust Tough just to make sure there's no rust or anything like that on there. And then this thing will be track ready. And I am so excited for it. I think I've said that 100 times today, how excited I am. It's probably getting annoying, but I don't really care because this thing's really coming along. So hopefully by the end of today, this will be moving under its own power again. It's been a long time since then, and we have a lot of work to do. So hopefully we can get this done today. Can't make any promises, but I'm gonna try my absolute hardest. We are starting with putting the interior back in. Don't know how much we're gonna put back in here, but we are going to get this full rear interior put back in. You can see I have the caps of the fuel pumps taken out. That's because I thought we were gonna have to drop the gas tank earlier when we were doing the welding plates, but we ended up not having to do that, which is awesome and saved us so much time. So now that that's done, we're gonna go ahead and pop the interior back in. We're gonna start here, and then we will slowly start to get everything wrapped back up in this car. Interior is back in the vehicle. We came back here, we just took out the rear radio stuff because it took up all of that space, and I kind of wanted to utilize that for if I ever do need any extra trunk space for tools, tires, stuff like that. But we did get the rear interior back in. So everything's nice and back to factory looking. All right, so we have now got the vehicle up on jack stands. I'm going to tackle the rear end, taking apart the rear end, while Jackson tackles. We got to get these two lower bolts, screws, they're going to call them bolts, out so that we can get those CNC adjustment arms in. And then he's also going to tackle this drain plug in the front because I broke it. So I'm going to let him handle that while I take apart everything here in the rear so that we can start getting it painted so we can get everything back in today and have this thing go under its own power later today, which I'm really excited to do.
Ooh. Dimes. He took it all in. Ooh.
All right, Jackson's been having some trouble over here with this guy. It's the lower joint on, or I guess the knuckle on the lower control arm. It's not wanting to come out at all. I was at one point standing on it with the pry bar in there, and it just didn't work. And you should see the pickle fork. Where's it at?
Oh, yeah.
She's doing a little dance. Like so, yeah, it's supposed to look like that. So we're gonna hop on this side and try it over here. But in the meantime, I'm going to put everything from back here back into its home and hopefully be done with the rear end. All right, we're back. Sorry if my face is a little dirty. I've been underneath that thing for the last like 3 hours. So differentials in, drive shafts connected, not torqued down. Last axle's going in. Jackson's already got the other axle in. I've tightened up everything on the drive shaft. Everything's all good there. Didn't even get to the front end today. We had some major problems up here. Ended up just absolutely melting these bushings here. So gonna have to get new lowers. on this, which is okay. It's not that I don't want to do that because it's extra money that I have to spend, but it's going to be nice to have new lowers on this. It'll feel really good. So same thing over here. These popped out super easy, which was awesome. They look really weird, but they popped out easy. Totally melted. So going to have to get new lowers there. Didn't even touch the radiator drain plug because we got the wrong one. This is the factory one. This is the one that O'Reilly gave me. So I just have a feeling that this is not going to work, specifically because drain plug has a hole. Drain plug does not have a hole. So something's a little wonky there. So we're not going to worry about that. But on the bright side, interior's totally in and have a working e-brake now, which is super sweet. Everything's back together in the rear. I might be able to get down here and show you. Yeah, everything is back together. So it looks really good. It sucks that you can't really see the diff, even though I painted it. Maybe we'll delete this one day, but I don't really want to do that right now. So everything's looking really good, coming together really well. We're just about wrapped up for the day, and then we'll probably head out and do another part to this video. Okay, so we finished up everything with the rear, got everything back in, still have some parts to do on the front. Got to get a new drain plug and new lower control arms, but other than that, this thing is ready to rock and roll. So hopefully before the end of the week, I want to have this thing driving by Thursday. That is the plan. So hopefully I can order lower control arms and a drain plug tonight, and then that will all be here, and I'll be able to get it in throughout the week and document that kind of stuff. But we made really, really good progress on this thing today. She is ready to go. It's so nice seeing everything back together down there. We do have to put the exhaust back on, but Casey did help us punch out the studs that were on the headers. So we got some new bolts and some new nuts for that. So super sweet, ready to go with this thing. Just have some cleaning up around the garage to do. But we are out for the night. What's up, everybody? We are back today for a part two. I guess not part two, but second part to the video so that we can tackle the front end on my BMW. Got my new lower control arms for the front, and then got, where'd they go? My brand new correct drain plug, and then correct axle nuts because these guys are a little boogered up. So we're gonna replace those guys as well. So everything's here, we're ready to go. Hopefully this isn't gonna take too long. It's like 6 o'clock, so getting a pretty late start to this. I've had a pretty busy day, but my motorcycle's finally gone, which is awesome, because now I can focus all of my pride and joy into this thing. So I'm gonna try to get as good of a video as I can. I thought this was gonna be a lot easier. There are 2 bolts right back here that need to be undone, and then 1 on top, but it looks like I've gotta come down here. I've got to get this plate, this aluminum plate off, and then I can unbolt these 2 bolts here, 1 here and 1 there, and then I should be able to get to this bushing to get it unmounted. So this thing's pretty crusty. It's going to be nice to get out. Got new I think these are called lollipop bushings, but I got new bushings here, so I'm going to correct these guys out. Have brand new control arms, which is going to be super nice. All right, so got under the car, got the aluminum skid plate off. There's a bolt here, here, on the same side, on the other side. So 2 bolts on each corner. Popped right out really easy. And then we found out I don't have to drop the rear subframe. For this bushing bolt in here, there's on the top of the subframe, you can actually reach it. So I've already loosened up these 2 back here. These 2 bolts. Already loosened those up. So now we're going to try to get in there and loosen that bushing bolt up. And it should preferably drop right out so we don't have to melt it again, like we did up here, or like Jackson did. I can't say we, Jackson did it. Hopefully we don't have to melt it, but that should just pop out. All right, Jackson just got the nut off to the control arm bushing, this long one right here. So he just got this nut off, but under the car on the right side. So now we have to hope that my pickle fork's gonna do the right thing. I was down there on it. We got the new drain plug in. This little drain plug right here is finally back in, and it didn't break. Thank God. So now I can actually put coolant in it. That's really nice. So now we got to focus on getting these 2 control arms out. And Jackson already went ahead and zapped on the new axle nuts. So she's getting there. The last thing we got to do is these bad boys. And then these will go on. So these go on somewhat like that. And then that gives you a little bit more angle. All right, old control arm. Replacement. I mean, they're night and day difference. I think it'll be nice. I think the other one was actually, this one was in pretty good shape. This bushing seems like it's in good shape, but I mean, obviously these are brand new. They're going to be a little bit better. This guy's a little goobered up a little bit. So I think this bushing was actually replaced more recent because it doesn't look quite as old, but we're still going to replace that since just because I have the whole assembly. So we're going to get this guy knocked back in, which one's front right? Put these guys back on here soon. Actually, we have to cut the tie rod end. So that should be very interesting. We got to cut right here about 15 mil is what the guy said on YouTube's. So we're going to have to cut that a little bit before we can put these on. Second control arm's out, which means we can put this guy in. This one was 100 times easier because I could actually fit this wrench in or ratchet in there the whole time, when on the other side we could only get the ratchet in there for a little bit. But we've been kind of going to work. The new control arm is in, ready to go. So Jackson is getting this bracket on just for the control arm side because we do have to do a little bit of cutting. He's already got that tie rod starting to go on, which is starting to come off, so that we can cut it down a little bit, put it back on, and then have these brackets on. But other than that, this thing's really rocking and rolling. These bushings came out 110 times easier. We threw some PB Blaster on them, and then we used a pickle fork, and they popped right out. So this side's a little annoying because you do have to get in there with an Allen key to hold it still, but other than that, it's been pretty seamless. Okay, coolant is in. We're gonna have to bleed that over the weekend. So this guy goes like this into the knuckle, and then it sits there, and the control arm goes into this bolt that you can kind of see flashing. But the knuckle has to be trimmed a little bit right here so that the control arm nut can actually clear it. So we're gonna wait to do that until this weekend, partially because Jackson may have forgotten that we were doing the CNC brackets and put this on, and now it won't come off. So we're going to actually get a tool that takes off lower control arm bushings so that we don't just shred this boot and have to get another new control arm. Or I guess it would just be a bushing now, but still not fun to do. So we're just going to go ahead and get a lower control arm bushing removal tool. So we're going to take a pause on that. We're going to put the exhaust back on it, but that is going to be it for this video. I appreciate everything. I'm happy we got this knocked out in about an hour and a half, 2 hours. It's been pretty easy. Axle nuts are on, coolant's in the car. We're gonna have to bleed it this weekend. And once those CNC machining things that have been the bane of my existence, once those go in, we can actually go out and drive the car. So hopefully my next video will be me driving the car, but I appreciate all the love. We're really coming along on this thing. It's almost done. Should be done next video, ready to drive, and then I'll just have to do coilovers, clutch, and a seat, and we will be ready to rock on the track. So I appreciate all the love. Thank you guys. I hope you're enjoying the content. This car's really, really coming along, and we are getting there and getting ready for the track. So subscribe, leave a like, and comment if you don't mind, and let me know what you would want to see out of this car next. Thanks. See ya.